Creed 2 is finally here from director Stephen Caple Jr., not Ryan Coogler this time. The first film was directed by him. Once again, we're continuing the story of Adonis Johnson, who has become the world heavyweight champion, and he is at the top of his game. However, Ivan Drago's son, Victor Drago, who has been pretty much raised in Ukraine on very raw and very unprofessional conditions, wants to challenge Creed for this position. This is actually one of the more personal fights for Creed because, as you all know, if you've seen Rocky 4, Ivan Drago, when he was fighting in his prime, killed Apollo Creed in the first Creed movie. Was one of my favorite films of 2015, and to this day, I think if you've not seen it, you are seriously depriving yourself of a really fantastic movie. That film was amazing. And also, let's face it, as much as Rocky 1 is the best Rocky movie ever made, Rocky 4 is the one everybody talks about because of how awesome it was. Rocky 4 is the one that is always talked about between me and friends and people who've grown up with Rocky. And once again, I think, that's gonna factor into a lot of this movie's, viewing. And I think in this case, in this movie, I found this to be a hair below the first Creed movie. But that said and done, this is probably still gonna be one of the more awesome movies I've seen this year. I absolutely love this film. Is it perfect? No. But if you're looking for just a solid entertainment movie with some amazing stuff in it, this is your film right here. This is almost, like I said, just as good as the first Creed movie, just a hair below it. Michael B. Jordan once again crushes it in this movie. The amount that he goes through, the amount that he's built up for this film is remarkable. Sylvester Stallone got Oscar nominated for the first Creed movie for playing Rocky again. This might get it again. His performance here is, again, phenomenal. Tessa Thompson, who I actually did not know was in the first movie until much later, is also really good here. As if you don't know her, she was Valkyrie in Ragnarok, and she's a very talented actress. I've seen her in a lot, and I think she was fantastic in this film as well. Victor Drago does what he can. I mean, he's essentially playing the heavyweight character he's essentially playing his father 30 years ago in this movie. So if that's something if that's what you're expecting, then that's exactly what you're gonna get. And Ivan Drago is pretty much Ivan Drago as you remember him. He's pretty much the same. He has a few moments where he almost says his most famous line from
The condition of most men, but the Russian
I must break you.
The fight choreography once again is phenomenal. The scenes are very intense as you get to the major battle scenes of the film. It's wonderfully done. It's presented like you're watching an actual sports match, and that way, as the audience, you feel like you're sitting in that arena watching Creed, land punch after punch on any of the contenders or vice versa. So you're there for the oohs and ahs of the whole thing, and that's phenomenal. That's just, you get the audience into the film immediately. Once again, the soundtrack is great. This one is also composed by the first movie's composer. Phenomenal stuff. There's some great musical choices to this film. The cinematography is once again on point. Really, all the stuff that you liked in the first movie in terms of how it looked and how it sounded and how everything was acted and directed, that's in this movie too. Also, something I really appreciated is the fact that this film retains the emotional core that the first movie had. The first movie has a lot of misty-eyed moments if you've seen it, and here, because they're going more into Creed's personal life and they're discussing more about what's happening with him outside the ring, I feel like that had led to some amazing moments. There's one scene in particular between him and Rocky, which I found really great, very emotionally satisfying. And as you see certain other beats throughout the film, you realize that, the boxing is one thing, but really this movie is about this man who has just had this really tough life this whole time and where he's come from and where he's come to, and really just processing all of that and all the things that have gone with it. Like that, there's a scene, I don't want to spoil it, but it's an emotional moment that I was hoping it would happen, and it happened. And I'm glad it happened. I thought that was a really good payoff. Really, the only thing that this one lacks in comparison to the first one is a stronger script. It's not like it's not a good script. It's just that I feel like the story for this one is a little more predictable, and there's a beat to it where you know things that are going to happen. As compared to the first movie, there's a slightly more unpredictable aspect to that first one. Here, there was a more predictable by the numbers feel to it. That's it. that's really it. I mean, if you're expecting any other flaws, there are really none others. I think everything else is just on point. I really liked it. I mean, I know that this film is not getting as positive reviews as the first one, but well, yeah, it's the, like I said, it's a hair below the first film. For me, the best comparison in this film would be if I was to compare Daredevil season 2 to season 1. They're both great, but you know how season 2 is just a little bit below season 1? That's this movie. This movie was essentially Daredevil season 2 to me. But I still love Daredevil season 2. And that's pretty much me with this movie. I highly recommend checking it out if you have not seen it yet. I'm gonna give Creed 2 a 9 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching. Look forward to more reviews very soon. As always, if you like this, please do subscribe. I'll see you guys at the movies.